Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. My aim is to show you that the key to a happier and more positive mind is to love the life you have. We will look at tips and tools you can use to improve your mindset, and the best thing is, we'll all be on this journey together. Hi. Oh, it feels so good. I feel like I'm back. So I've recently listened to the last couple of episodes, and quite understandably, they've been quite sad, quite low energy from me. So I would like to think that from this episode, it's going to be a bit more upbeat, a bit more back to normal. I really hope that people have found it useful to think about the stages of grief. But for me, it's time to just try and get back to being the positive me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you follow me on any of my social medias, then you might have seen that it got to a point for me, and this is within between the space of the last episode and now. So in between that time, obviously last time I said I was sort of in between acceptance stage, but then kept sort of flitting back every now and again, dipping back into the depression stage of grief. And I have to say, there was a moment that I knew I needed to belief code how I'm feeling. And that time was when I went into the vets to pick something up for Rosie, and I literally walked out in floods of tears because it was the first time I'd been in there. Like, I was getting to the point where everything I did for the first time was, I was crying. And there was a song, you know, the Sabrina Carter song, Please, Please, Please. Like, for some reason, I had attached that song to the period of time of not knowing what's wrong with Hugo, or like the period of time where we were waiting to find out. So that, every time I heard that song, every time I would do something new, like do something for the first time without Hugo, I would just be in floods of tears. And whilst, yes, obviously we have to feel our sadness and allow that, it got to the point where I was just ready to feel a bit lighter from that. Does that make sense? So I did a belief coding session for myself one evening, and well, since then, have I cried? I don't know if I've cried. I've definitely cried, but I don't know if I've cried about, I don't think anything to do with Hugo has made me cry. Like, I still feel sad, obviously, but that extreme sadness of feeling like I have to cry, or, you know, wanting to cry every time something new happens, that's gone, which is really lovely, actually. I'm now genuinely able to look back at little memories and, you know, even talk about the shit stuff, the decisions we had to make, without getting upset, which that is amazing, because I think, you know, I was just ready to get to that point. So yeah, I'm feeling loads better. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for your feedback. And thank you so much for all your well wishes. Today, I just want to talk about the significance for me of this time of year. And you might very well be able to resonate with this. So, like for me, I love September. My favourite month is October. Actually, that's not true. I love December as well. I just I love it all. I love all the months, to be honest. I love all the seasons, but I have to say, sorry, that's me clicking my knuckles. I have to say, like, the autumn months are my favourite months. So I do love September, knowing that autumn is on the way. Part of me thinks that sometimes the reason why I love autumn so much is because I know Christmas is on the way. I just love Christmas. I love how I feel at Christmas. I don't know. It's not a bad place to be, loving all the seasons. I always feel like I'm ready for the next season when it comes to the end of a season. So that's quite helpful. But for me, I always think of September as a time for like getting back to your routine and just reevaluating what it is you want to achieve. Not only because obviously in September, October, November, December, in 4 months' time, it's going to be the end of the year. Like, not just because of that, but just because I feel like it's a good time to refocus and like just change anything that you need to. So for me, over the summer, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to lie, I didn't have the best summer. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say it was fucking shit. Obviously, I don't need to explain why. But the whole summer was consumed by it, as I've said before. So I am actually really happy for the summer to be over, because for me, that just means, and it has actually coincided with me wanting to move on to the next step. So yeah, I have, with the kids going back to school, like I always have this little feeling anyway, every year. With the kids going back to school, I just love getting back to my routine. I allow myself to just relax a little bit over the summer. And in the school holidays, like if I've not got a reason to set my alarm for 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever, I won't. And I'll just allow myself to wake up naturally. So quite a few days over the summer, I was waking up at like 7 o'clock, which is lovely. Like that for me is just a really welcome lie-in. And obviously this year I needed it. If I wake up late, I don't feel as organised as I normally would. And for me over the summer, you know, working for myself, being flexible, not having to get the kids to school and all that, it's okay for me to feel a little bit more flexible and a bit more relaxed. But there's only so long that can go on for me. Some people love living like that, and that's great. I'm not like that. I like living like that for a certain amount of time, particularly honouring it when you feel like you need it. But on the whole, I do need routine. I love routine. I get bored of routine. But when I start getting bored, I just change my routine up a little bit. So I decided a couple of days last week, obviously before the kids went back to school, I did say to Craig, I'm going to start getting up at 5 o'clock again. And it didn't happen. But on Monday morning, for kids' first day back at school, 2nd of September, my alarm went off at 5 and I was up so easily. I don't know what the difference was. Well, I do, I guess. It's the fact that the kids were going back to school that day. And to me, that was the turning point of things changing, things getting back to routine. But I was surprisingly fine at getting up. And I was again this morning. It's only Tuesday. It's only been 2 days. So, you know, I'm not going to give anyone false hope here. That might change. But I got up yesterday morning. I came into my room, which I'm in now, which is like the room where I do my podcasting, obviously, but it's also the room where I do all my healing work, all my coaching work. The energy in this room is so calming, so positive. I absolutely love it. So I've started to come in here in the morning when my alarm goes off and do a meditation or do Reiki on myself before I go downstairs. So that has been really lovely. Then just, again, I've like slipped away from writing down the things I'm grateful for every day. There is something about writing it down. Do you know what I mean? So like writing down the 3 top things I'm grateful for that day. Yesterday, I also wrote down what I wanted my priority to be for that day. Like what was the one thing I wanted to make sure I achieve that day. Another thing I wrote down was what I wanted the sort of feel of the day to be. Like what emotion, what was the whole vibe of the day, the overall vibe of the day. And just writing that down, setting that intention, made sure that I achieve it. I know probably a lot of you are thinking, You've banged on about all this so much, because I know a lot of my listeners have got themselves into really good morning routines, which I'm so proud of. If I have been the one to inspire you to do it, or if I've said something that's been part of your inspiration to do it, like that does make me so proud. And fair play to you if you keep it up every single day, because it's difficult. Like I said, I do get bored of my routine, so I get bored of anything if I do it for so long, but so it does mean that I have to really be on my toes and like change things up every now and again, or just allow myself to have a little break and then get back into it when I feel like it. But actually, I will say, having a break from, that whole routine, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think the more and more you do something, the more you make things a habit, the actual intention of what you're doing kind of melts away a little bit. Does that make sense? Like, I think when you start doing things like this again, like if you have a little break, let's just take me, for example. I've had the summer off from getting up at my normal time. I've had the summer off from writing my gratitude list like religiously every day, and meditating every day. Like all these things that I've told you in the past for my morning routine. I just want to be really transparent, because I just don't want you to think that I do that all the time, like 365 days of the year. Like, yes, when I'm in a good routine, I do it every day. And for a good few months, that will be my morning routine. But then something will happen, something that will take my energy, and I will need to have a little bit of a break from it. And that is okay. I think, like I was saying, if you are doing things every single day, then it doesn't have the same intent. You don't put the same amount of energy into it. I mean, I might be wrong. You might. But from my observation of what happens to me in my little brain, a little break from things every now and again, just to re-energize, discover why you need to do those things. It's like giving yourself another reason, if you know what I mean. Am I making sense? It's like when you go on holiday, or when you have the Christmas holidays, the Christmas period, you're always ready to get back to work after. You're always ready to get back to your routine after. And it just goes to show what having a little break from things every now and again, a little refresh, a little reset, can do for your motivation. It just feels like a fresh start, and you put more energy into it. You're more excited about it. And that is what I feel like about September. We've had the summer, we've had the more laid back months, where usually, depending on where you live, you enjoy a bit more warmer weather. And then when that energy changes, like you can physically feel the energy changing, can't you? When you move into September, it's a different kind of energy. And that just feels like a fresh start. I love it. I'm all here for it. To be fair, like I said, I do feel like that at the start of every season. I'd love to know how your morning routines are going. So if anyone feels like they fancy giving me a little update, please do send me a message. Obviously, any of my social medias, you can send me a message, but you can also email me, lisa@lisadavidge.co.uk. Just let me know if you're like me and it's dropped off over the summer, and then you feel inspired to, obviously, if your kids are going back to school, or if work is starting back up again, then obviously you have to get up earlier in the morning. I'm not necessarily talking about things like that. I'm talking about our intentional morning routine, where you meditate, where you journal, where you gratitude lists. Do you know what I mean? So I would love to know if that is the same for you, or if you have continued to be really consistent with your morning routine. because we're all different. And so, yeah, I would love to know. Like for me, as I've said, mine dips off and then I feel a bit more energized after a bit of a break and I'm back into it again. So, but just because that's how I feel about it and what I do about it doesn't mean that's what everyone does. So I am really, really interested to know how this is for you. So please do let me know. Something I've noticed though, from writing down, like I used to have a gratitude journal which would prompt me, but I've run out of pages on that, and I've just been using my notepad and my own sort of guidance to know what to write down. And that's one thing I've really noticed, is that I really like having the space, like knowing what I've got to write and where. So like having the prompts, if you know what I mean, having the questions. So I'm thinking of making having a journal made and printed. So yeah, watch this space. Like I'm going to design it how I want to use it, and maybe that might be the kind of thing that you want to use as well. I'll let you know. So I'm actually doing a course at the moment on how to sell them on Amazon. So yeah, like I said, watch this space. It would be really good for me to start, I don't know, generating some income from doing this podcast. Like, as you know, I love doing this podcast for free. I love engaging with listeners. I absolutely love it. But I do need to start generating some income from it. I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and I've made about 20 quid. I'm so grateful for that, by the way. But it's been 2 years and I've not made a lot. I'm not going to lie. And it takes up a lot of my time. I'm really waffling now. But yeah, that is my plan. I might just start creating a few little products that just coincide with the kind of things that I talk about. So meditations, obviously the journal, like I said, the gratitude journal, little things like that. So yeah, please do, if you like listening to my podcast and you would like to support me, but you don't necessarily want coaching or Reiki sessions with me, that's absolutely fine. Maybe you could support me through buying a few of my products when they're launched. So I will keep you updated. That's quite exciting. Anyway, I am going to shoot off now because I have to go and pick the kids up. I'm going to try and start getting back to weekly episodes again. Obviously, I've totally fallen off the wagon. I know you all understand why, and I'm so grateful for your patience. I'm going to try and get back to weekly episodes again. They might be a bit shorter because I need to use my time a little bit more wisely, but they will be back to weekly again. So thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to let me know how your morning routine is going, or if you need a bit of a kick up the backside to get you back into it. Send me a message, send me an email, tag me in your stories. If you have a morning routine and you're writing your journal, tag me and I can share it. That would be lovely. If you've enjoyed this episode, if you enjoy any of my episodes, please do help me out by subscribing, by rating, reviewing, telling other people about it. I would be so grateful. Thanks for listening today. Sending lots of love. Bye.